welcome dear Moisio followers for that new Moisio tutorial video about the ANX, the virtual analog engine that we have on the Montage M. And the today topic is to start with the basic, with the waveform, the tone, and the simple things you can do, but it's very important. This is the start point. You will see I will add a nice oscilloscope view for you to let you understand the waveforms. And you understand that there will be some others video with dedicated topic to let you understand and manage the ANX engine. Just before to start, I remind to you, if you like that video content, please click on like. That's very important for me to know that you like the content I propose to you, and it's very important for the channel too.
To begin, I selected an ANX Init performance. It allows me to work on an unedited sound. How to select this performance? Go to Category Search. Select Init, then select Init Normal ANX. Today we're going to look at oscillator waveforms and noise. How do we access to the Edit view? Like for AWM 2-element view, or operator view for FMX. Do I enter the menus here through the screen? No, we'll use the navigation button. We have this view, which allows us to see how this virtual analog synthesis is set. At the top, we have the noise generator, and then 3 oscillators. Compared to AWM2, it would be a kind of 3 elements, with some differences, because everything is not organized in the same way. We'll come back to this navigation screen because it really allows us to see how the ANX is structured. To work on my first oscillator, I'll click here. Then I can choose to navigate like this between my 3 oscillators and my noise. Or I can choose to press the navigation button again. It shows me where I was. Let's go to oscillator 2. Then to the noise. We come back to this oscillator. What's very important is to be on this setting. It will make it easier for you to work. We can manage our oscillators 1, 2, 3, and the noise level. You see, I went directly on the sub-screen to the right page. If I hadn't been on the right page, I can press Shift plus page jump, and that would bring me directly to the good screen. We have 8 basic settings to work with, and we have many more settings on the central screen. Today, we're going to focus on waveforms, which are really the sound starting point. The first waveform we can have is called the saw. And you can see very clearly on the oscilloscope the saw representation. We also have one other waveform called saw2. The sound is a little thicker. As you can hear, it's a little richer. Then we have the square or pulse. You can clearly hear the difference. It's less rich. Why? Because saw waves contain all the harmonics. Squares only contain even harmonics. Then we have triangles with even fewer harmonics. And then we'll move on to sinus wave, kind like the DX7 Basic FM. There are no harmonics, it's the simplest sound you can get. For each of the 3 oscillators, we can choose a different waveform. You don't have to set the same waveform on all 3 oscillators. You can mix them according to your needs and what you want to achieve in terms of sound design. For each of these oscillators, we can adjust the level. You're not going to set them all to the maximum. The output level, which we find here on the sub-screen, will allow us to easily manage the level to mix our 3 oscillators. I'm going back to a saw. I play all on C3 to always have the same reference. How can I change the tone? Here on the screen, we're going to use what's called the octave. For those who have already seen my organs videos, as example on the YC or the CK, you will see that there are reference numbers here that are similar to those on organs. Here, we are on 8. Each time, we change by 1 octave. Here, we're at the lowest point. And then as I go up, I'll go up an octave. It's very easy to change the oscillator's tone. How do I detune it a little more finely? That's where we're going to work, with what's called pitch. We're going to work with much finer values, and we find them here in hundredths. It's a little difficult to come back to 0. You can do this, double tap to return to 0. Otherwise, the Shift button allows me to slow down the scrolling, so I can more easily reach the value I want. Here, it's even quite slow. I've reached 0. Note that double tapping is much faster for entering directly the value. How does my oscillator react to velocity? Nothing happens because I haven't adjusted anything here on the velocity output level, which controls the velocity response. Double tapping is very handy for coming back to 0. However, in general, we won't necessarily end up at 0. Except to make a drone which is sustained and does not interact with velocity. As you can see, if I move to the right into positive way, when I play softly it sounds softly, when I play loudly, it sounds loudly. I can reverse this, make an oscillator start playing less loudly when I play another oscillator more loudly. In this case, I'll move it to the left. The next setting is invert, that I've selected here. You've seen that our saw wave is displayed in a certain way. With invert activated, I reverse the way my saw wave plays. The sound is a smoothly bit different. Depending on the result we want to achieve, we will activate invert or not. Finally, how do I connect? I can connect either to the filter or to the amplifier. What difference does that make? Let's coming back to the navigation menu. If I connect through the filter, I will have to go through the amplifier, passing through the modifier too. If I connect directly to the amplifier, I don't go through the filter section, and I don't go through the modifier. Now let's look at the noise. There are fewer settings. It has a tone setting. When we are here in the center, we are on the white noise. To get some level, I'm going to turn up the noise and turn down oscillator 1. As you can see, when I turn to the left, the sound have less treble. When I turn to the right, it have more treble and less bass. Then we find settings that are similar to what we've already seen. Here, the sound level reacts to my faders. You can choose to have the noise remain at a certain level. Velocity response work in the same way as the oscillators. If I move to the right like this, I can choose to have my noise react like my other oscillators. It's important to set the levels like this, because until now, we only had one oscillator. When we start mixing our oscillators, you can see that on the oscilloscope, the shape of the 3 is not at all the same representation. If I set the same waveforms for my 3 oscillators, will I keep my saw view? Let's see what happens. We don't have the same basic representation of our waveform, even if I cut the noise. We've created a sound that is more complex than the original alone waveform. Obviously, I can turn it like this, and I'm on oscillator 1. I'm going to raise down the levels here. Take a close look at the oscilloscope at the top, depending on the octave setting I'm going to choose. I'm doing this with oscillator 1 to stay with the same example. I select a sine wave. I'm on 8. What happens if I select 4? You can see that we double these sine waveforms. It will be the same for the other waveforms, but the sine wave is easier to visualize. That's video ending. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found the content interesting. Feel free to click on like, and I also invite you to click on the boost button to highlight this video in YouTube suggestions. If you want to learn more quickly how to use or take in hand your Montage M, ESP, Camelot Pro, or any of the Yamaha synthesizers and stage keyboards that I use, or also Cubase MIDI and audio recording with them, you can request your Moesias Masterclass now. You choose your session topic, and you can download your session video to watch it as many times as you need. It's available for users who lives in Europe. See the video description to contact me by mail. Take all benefit of my expertise for Yamaha synthesizers and stage keyboards, John Mellor's software suite or Camelot Pro. As member of International Yamaha Tech Talk Live team, consultant for Yamaha Music Europe and France, and host of the Camelot Pro sessions, I take care of your experience level. If you are a Moesias YouTube community member, you will get 15 minutes extra time for each session. How to become a member? Just sign up on YouTube. It's a monthly subscription of €3, and you'll get more than just the 15 minutes extra time. You'll get to see all my videos in preview, without ads, almost 2 months in advance, as well as my private videos without ads too. Don't hesitate to join the Moesias YouTube community. See you soon for a new Moesias video.